Tesla unveiled its robotaxi concept on October 10th and got a ton of attention from the media, but this is not the first robotaxi that we have seen, and it isn't going to be the last. In fact, there are over 1,000 robotaxis on the road today. Waymo and Cruise are the two leaders in the space, but there's a number of other companies who are trying to compete to build a market share, build a product in fully autonomous vehicles. So I want to go through some of those competitors today and just give you an idea what the competitive landscape looks like, whether you're looking at Tesla and where it sits in this market, or whether you're looking for other investment ideas from companies like Waymo, Cruise, which is owned by General Motors, Mobileye, and potentially some other companies that are still private. So that's what I'm going to dig into today. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content, and thanks to this video sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they'll give you their top 10 stocks to buy right now. Let's start with the industry leader, and that is clearly Waymo. This is Waymo, a fully autonomous ride-sharing vehicle. They are operating in a few cities today. I'll get to those, but it's really started in California, owned by Alphabet. So this is one of the Alphabet sides, not related to Google. It is part of the reason that Alphabet changed its name to Alphabet, because it is a mostly owned subsidiary. It does have its own capital structure and its own funding technically, but they're using modified Jaguar I-Pace vehicles today to do their fully autonomous rides. This is called Waymo One is the service that it's called. They are now partnering with Uber. That will launch sometime in 2025. They are operational in San Francisco, LA, Austin, and Phoenix. And one of the things that you'll notice about Waymo is you can take it in most of the areas in San Francisco. You can even ride on the highway. This is something that has really taken quite a while for the industry to get to. Most of the testing was done on city streets, 30 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour at the most. There's regulations around that and exactly what companies can do. But Waymo's been working on this for years at this point and has gotten to the point, but regulators are comfortable allowing them to even drive on the highway. So this is the operational area where they're operating in San Francisco. Go down to Los Angeles and you can see that it goes from Santa Monica to West Hollywood. So pretty big area, although there's a lot of places to expand in Los Angeles. Go over to Phoenix, and this is a very, very rapidly expanding area. Now 315 square miles that you can drive in a Waymo in the Phoenix area. And the final city that they have operations is in Austin. Now, one of the challenges that Waymo has is all of the equipment that they have on their vehicles. So what they have done is they actually have two partnerships. They have one partnership with Zeekr. They were supposed to build a custom built vehicle. Not sure if that's going to go anywhere because Zeekr is actually a Chinese company with the institute of 100% tariffs. That may make it a little bit too expensive to bring that technology to the US. So they recently announced a new deal with Hyundai, where Hyundai is going to be building this custom built vehicle. It is a Ioniq 5 SUV. And then there will be, basically they will come straight off the production line and Waymo will attach their own custom equipment, should help bring that cost down. We don't know what those numbers are yet, but reasonable to say that the cost will come down to somewhere around $100,000 per vehicle, given that these vehicles are standard about $50,000 to $60,000. So this is where Waymo sits. And that's what the future of the business looks like. This is going to be a wholly owned ride-sharing service. They have their own app. They're going to be starting a partnership with Uber in Austin, where they're going to allow Uber to basically operate the fleet. So we'll see how that one goes. But this is a business that is in operations. You can ride in them today, and it is scaling in the future. They are also going to have their own custom vehicle. Not a 2-seat vehicle, the way that Tesla is building, but actually a 4 or 5-seat vehicle with the Ioniq 5. Cruise is the other company that is in a fairly similar position to Waymo, except for their vehicles are just now mapping again. They were actually taken off the roads in October 2023. There was an accident in San Francisco. They basically went back to the drawing board with the business model for Cruise. Even General Motors, which owns a majority of Cruise, went back and said, hey, how are we going to invest in this company? What are we going to build in the future? So what they are going to do is, instead of this monstrosity that you see here, the next generation Chevy Bolt is actually going to be built with Cruise in mind. I think it will probably look fairly similar to what you saw from Waymo, although some of those sensors may actually be built in a little bit more. At a recent investor day, GM said that the Chevy Bolt EV is going to be the most affordable EV on the market in 2025 when it's released, likely to be coming out later in 2025. We haven't even seen concept pictures of this. But if that's the case, we're talking about a vehicle that will cost $25,000, maybe $30,000 to build, very possible that Cruise can get to the point where their vehicles, their hardware is going to be $50,000, $60,000. That now gets really competitive. And again, this is a company that has vehicles on the road today. They're in the safety validation phase, but in 2025, they are also going to be expanding a partnership with Uber. I would expect to see thousands of vehicles on the road from Cruise for sure by the end of 2026. And depending on how fast they want to go, potentially even tens of thousands. Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. So you're probably sensing a theme here. Tesla is not the only company developing a robotaxi. In fact, Waymo and Cruise are not just developing, they are deploying them into the field. One company that is in more the development phase is going to be Mobileye, is going to be the technology company behind this. They're going to make the IQ6 chip, all the self-driving technology behind it. But Verne is a vehicle that is going to be testing kind of a similar design to what we saw Tesla announce on the 10th. This is going to be a 2-seat vehicle built specifically for ride sharing, and it'll basically be a small robo-taxi fleet. Now, will this vehicle get off the ground? We don't really know at this point, but if Mobileye's technology is viable and scalable for level 4 or level 5 autonomy, then they're just going to be able to take that technology and put it into basically any automaker's vehicles and build out a robo-taxi fleet. Another example of that is with Zeekr and Mobileye's technology in China. So they are working together to build fully autonomous vehicles, starting with supervision, but then the idea would be to use their drive feature in the future. And there's another concept from Hoium, if I'm saying that correctly, using Mobileye Drive, and this is the level 4 autonomy, no driver needed, no steering wheel needed. But this concept vehicle is a little bit like the vehicle that Tesla announced at its event on the 10th. Going to be much more like a miniature bus. Looks like it doesn't have 20 seats like Tesla's did, but could be a compelling option if it ends up being built. And there's more companies working on this technology as well. Nuro is one of the companies that is operating fully autonomously commercial vehicles in the state of California. There are only 3 companies like that. We currently have Waymo, Nuro, and Mercedes-Benz as actually building a vehicle, testing level 3 and level 4 technology. But that's it. If you look at companies that are doing driverless testing, you add a few more companies to this list. Apollo, AutoX, there's actually some Chinese companies, so not really clear what their future in California is going to be. And Zoox, this is a company that's owned by Amazon. Not clear their strategy, but Amazon obviously has the balance sheet and now the technology to build its own ride-sharing fleet as well. The common narrative is that Tesla's robotaxi is going to be the first robotaxi on the road, but that's not the case at all. In fact, there are companies that are already beginning to scale their robotaxi. They're building custom-built vehicles, and there are more that are going to be hitting the road before Tesla's robotaxi is going to be legal anywhere. They're not even testing that fully autonomous system until next year at some point. They're going to start that in California and Texas. Then they will need to get regulatory approval to actually go to the point where you don't need a safety driver. You get to full autonomy and prove out that safety. That's going to be potentially hundreds of thousands of miles they'll have to drive. And then you get to the point where you can actually deploy it to customers. So this is probably not a vehicle that's going to be driving around for 2, 3, 4 years, maybe even more. Whereas there are companies today that are building robotaxis and scaling their fleet. So something to think about whether you're a Tesla investor or not. I think a lot of the opportunities are these overlooked companies that are actually doing the thing that Tesla says it's going to do, but hasn't yet proven that it can. But let me know what you think about the future of autonomy. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.